Madison Parish School Board is now called to order Monday, June 16, 2025. Do we stand for Amen. Pledge allegiance.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any new business? New business. A, and for the adopted agenda, can we get a motion and second that we delete item H and adopt everything else?
I make a motion to add A to the adopted rest of it. And I second.
Then moved by Board Member Hamilton, second by Board Member Crawford, that we delete item H and adopt agenda for the night. Roll call, District 1. Here. District 2.
Here.
District 3. Here. District 4.
Here.
District 5. District 6. District 5.
Here.
Okay. District 6. District 7. District 8.
Present.
Item E, presentation by Mr. Freddie Carter.
My name is Freddie Carter. They call me Birdman. I guess most of y'all have seen my work around town.
I have.
And my purpose here, I believe that everybody should get their roses while they live. So I use my birdhouses as roses. I've been trying to been trying to present this birdhouse for a little over a year now. So I finally got a chance to do it. Thank you, Mr. Fowler, for having me on the road, on the agenda. This is the birdhouse I'm presenting tonight. Dr. Butler. Come up. Like I said, I've been trying to present this to him for over a year. Yeah, I tried to get everything that I was able to get. School that we went to McCall, represent, birdhouse in fact representing school district and college. Southern University.
Right over here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Freddie Carter. Item E, approve the bills for payment. Is she here? Okay, I'm sorry, she is here. Item C, presentation from Federal Mandate School Health Advisory Council. I was told that you all wasn't here. Are you here?
Yes, we are here.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that, Ms. Dale.
It's okay.
Ms. Dale, come to the mic.
Sure.
Thank you.
You hear me now?
Yes.
All right, let me get this thing. Okay, I am Zamara Bell, and I'm the secretary of the School Health Advisory Committee. We have a few representatives also in the audience, and we were trying to get our presentation synced. However, how many of us realize that there are always technical difficulties, but that doesn't stop not one show. So we are the School Health Advisory Committee, and we are at the district level. And we're composed of community members, faculty, staff of the Madison Parish School District. And we're also with school leadership. And we're here, and I'm just gonna read a couple of facts for you all. Okay, fact number one, in many Black communities, chips and juice are a daily after-school snack. But over time, the norm feeds diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and even depression in our babies. We're also talking about anxiety with red 40 food coloring. So we need to be thinking about this as we're thinking about a holistic education of our young people. Black children are more likely to be labeled bad in school when they are feeling hungry, tired, or reacting to the effects of a poor diet. A child's brain uses up to 50% of the body's energy, and that energy comes from food. So when we're talking about junk food equals brain fog. And brain fog, that's poor scores, poor tests, all of these things. We have to look at these things holistically as we're talking about the proper education of our people. Now, when we think about progress has a process. We don't hop from A to Z in 2.5 seconds. We have to cultivate change. Now, we are currently in phase number 2. Phase number 1 is research and development. We have to identify what it is that we as the district level school health advisory committee, what we're actually going to be doing. And just to let you understand what that looks like, we sent out a little miniature survey. Well, first we did the school health index. Now the sheet is an assessment, and it takes and it evaluates the policies that we have within the school health. I feel like I'm real loud, y'all.
You don't need a microphone.
Okay, I don't need a microphone. Can everybody hear me good?
Yes.
All right. So the sheet actually assesses what our school health, what our policies are within the district. And I know that a lot of times things look good on paper, but when we actually get to implementing things, it doesn't necessarily pan out the way that we think that it should. So we take and we identify 3 of our key concerns, and that's communications. We need to figure out how to better communicate to our kids, our faculty and staff, and the community at large. We identify water. Of course, we know water is a community-wide issue. And we identified junk food, snacks. We know that, again, what we eat, we are what we eat. Whatever we eat impacts us. It impacts the way that we navigate life, the way that we navigate the world. So we did that. We identified 3 things from our sheet, from module 1, and now we're in the second phase. And the second phase is data collection. We are sending out assessments in the fall, and the assessments are going to identify things like, how often do you eat junk food? Or what do you consider healthy food? Or how many times a day are you feeling sick? Do you have a headache? Do you have a stomach ache? How are these things impacting you? Because it's one thing to say, oh, we need to do this, but it's another thing to have data to back up. We all know in education, data is important. And we all know that oftentimes our kids are coming, they got a headache or they're missing school. So these things impact us. These things impact the way that we receive information. want to make sure that we have the proper policies and the proper implementation in place in order to move our district forward, because progress is a process, and we are currently in phase 2. Are there any questions? All right, y'all, we out the same. Thank you so much for allowing us to present.
Thank you, Ms. Gill. Ms. Bell asked, was any questions, so I'm asking, do we have any questions? Or Ms. Gill?
And we also have our advisors here too, so it doesn't have to be for me.
Can you stand up?
Yes. Could you all please sing Nurse Brody and Miss Catherine?
All right. Thank you, Ms. Bell, and your advisory committee. Item D, approve the bill for payment.
Where is Global Gas and Power?
That's, gonna be in Louisiana.
Ma'am?
You're asking, what is it? That's where they get, inspection stickers from.
I presented,
You would have the inspection stickers?
when you, okay.
And you all, excuse me, you all be careful with your mic. The mic's supposed to go off. We speak when the mic is on, and we want to turn it off, and we can't turn it off right now. So just be careful what you say, so it won't get on you. But I looked in the board, and I did have a talk with them, and I hope Alan Green, tell them look at this. I looked at we, and y'all probably tell us when you come. So if you do, it's nod your head and I shut up. It's a lot of vendors that we're paying. And I looked at it, we have a lot of vendors that's on people that actually paying or trying to send in payment. So if y'all got that in your report, can you report it to us, how many vendors we have or how many we have now? I was just looking over some of our bills, over the bills, I went through my packet and I saw we got a lot of vendors that we was paying. I don't know, we still paying them? Okay, so, Tim and his firm can look at that and, let us know in your report if you have. Okay. Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve the bill for payment?
I motion to approve the bill for payment. Second.
And then moved by Board Member Gusher, second by Board Member Humphrey, that the bill approved for payment. Any questions? Item E, approve the minutes of the regular board meeting, May 19, 2025, financial insurance committee meeting, June 5, 2025, and a special board meeting, May 15, 2025. Before we get item E, I want to make sure that I got a motion. Now I want to do roll call for the bills for payment. And got it in my record. Board member, District 1, be for approval of bills to be paid. 2,
Yes.
District 3, yes. approval of minutes of the regular board meeting May 19, 2025, conduct and showing committee meeting June 5th, 2025, and a special board meeting for May 15, 2025. Can I get a motion to approve and then roll call vote?
I make the motion to approve the minutes from the regular board meeting.
For the staff and then board comments and the audience and comments from the audience. It's been moved by Ms. Crawford, can I get a second? Second, with it, board member Patterson. Roll call vote. District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3, yes. District 4?
Yes.
District 5? District 6? District 7?
Yes.
District 8?
Yes.
District 8?
Yes.
We had 7 yes and 1 no. Right, for district, any other questions as we move forward? Item F, recognizing the district of companies. Dr. Butler.
Okay. Yes, 2 years ago, we had opportunity culture to come in and present a plan that was approved through the district in order to help support our teachers and help our kids to perform better on tests. All right. About a few of my staff members and I traveled down to New Orleans to Teacher Leader. Teacher Leader is a big conference of mostly teachers, superintendents, and other staff attend once a year. From all over the country, 1,000 teachers. We happen to have 4 presenters from Madison Parish to present, and I just want to say they did an excellent job. So I didn't have all of them come today. I got Dr. Rebels to come and just basically give us an overview of some of the stuff that we presented down in New Orleans.
Superintendent, before Dr. Rebel come up, can you have the one to stand that we all went to that?
Yeah, if you're here and you went to that conference, please stand.
And the one that presented, spoke for us, can they stand? Okay. Thank you, Superintendent.
Good evening, Board President Pound, Assistant Board President Crawford, members of the board. As Dr. Butler shared last week, several faculty and staff traveled to New Orleans for our Teacher Leader Conference. And a part of that conference, myself, Dr. Pittman, Mr. Bowman, and Mrs. Turner Brown were afforded the opportunity to share the great things that have gone on here in Madison Parish. As Dr. Butler shared, Madison Parish has engaged and worked with Attune as well as Opportunity Culture. And just to share out some of those positive things from Attune, and I apologize, I didn't make a copy of it was working. Boom, there you go. Okay, so the work that we worked on here in Madison Parish was intellectual preparation as well as cognitive engagement. When we talk about intellectual preparation, that deals with the lesson plans that teachers do, all of the front loading they do to make certain that teaching and learning takes place every day. So when we started off with Attune back in 2023, of all the schools that participated, we were at a 19% with intellectual preparation. So at the end of that that first year, April 2024, we had moved up to 54%. This is the second year that we've engaged in that work, and so at the conclusion of our meeting that we had with Jesse Uncle, one of the support persons from the Department of Ed, we've moved up to 73%. So if you look at where we started in 23 up until now, that 73%, that is a 54% increase that we've had with our intellectual preparation. When you look at cognitive engagement, that's the work that our scholars do day in and day out. So when we started September of 23, we were at 21%. At the end of that school year, we were at 33%. The end of April 2025, we are at 45%. Again, that's 24% increase. And so the work that we've been doing, you can see that we've been making a steady increase each of the years. In addition to that, with us being a part of Attune, the cohort that we have, 80% of those schools, you've seen an increase in LEAP 2025 schools. Here in Madison, we have seen a 3.8% increase. So again, we're working hard to meet that mastery and above that the State Department has, afforded all schools, and so we're working to get our schools up to the level that the State Department is requesting. Lastly, when you look at year 2 impact, our 24-25 billings, 30.7% of our scholars, K3, have shown an increase. They are scoring at or above on our Dibbles schools. And so that has placed us at the top 3 in the systems across Louisiana for our Dibbles growth. And so again, that is something that we should be ecstatic about, because again, now, of course, we do have to address the elephant in the room. It's 2 sheets. We do have to address the elephant in the room. So, of course, when you look at the accountability models, and that's what's coming around, anytime you start making growth, of course, the bar is always what? It increases. So what we have in front of you is the current model that we will be scored on, as well as the upcoming model for 25-26. So again, just being transparent, although we are making increases in strides, again, just being transparent, there may be a decrease in scores when the 25 scores are actually published. Because when you compare the 24 and 25 model, you will see 24, it has interest and opportunities for our elementary schools. And when you look at the 25-26, you will see that our elementary and middle schools only have that achieve and growth. Whereas our high school level has growth, achieve, and thrive. Again, minus the interest and opportunities. So we did want to discuss the positive things that are going on, as well as be transparent with the new accountability model when scores are released. Any questions?
I have a comment.
Yes, ma'am.
Of course, I'm lower elementary, and I truly believe if we can close the gap there, by the time they get to 3rd grade, then a 3rd grade teacher can start teaching comprehension, which would be better for junior high and high school that they've gone through. So the letter that Opportunity Culture and all the board members have this letter, they spoke out about how 15% of our kindergartners came in on level. Only 15%, but they left kindergarten 71% on level. And that's because our kindergarten children, and if we could get a kindergarten 1st and 2nd, because curriculum shifts into 3rd grade to where it didn't have to do comprehension. Well, you're putting a task on a 3rd grade teacher if they can't do the phonics and read, they're at a disadvantage to teach comprehension. So when I look at this data, this is working. And if our little ones can get it, then by the time they get third, fourth, and fifth, we're off to the races. So we just have to keep our feet to the fire. And also in this letter, they base it on level certificates. The middle and Wright Elementary are level 1 certificate, but Flume Elementary became one of the first schools in the nation to achieve level 2 certification. And that is an accomplishment for all 3 of our schools, but to get the little ones ready to read, it's coming. It's gonna take a little while, like you said, and plus the state is, they do, changing the bar. But if we get these kids reading, we're in good shape.
Mr. Reynolds, Dr. Reynolds, Dr. Pittman, Principal Bowman, and Principal Brown. I have some friends in Lake Charles and from Lafayette, and I called to ask them if someone was in your class. And I didn't get this from Dr. Butler because I didn't ask him. I want to hear from somebody else, and I knew some people that teach down there, and they said all 4 principals spoke very well, and they felt like y'all knew what y'all was talking about. So I'm going to give y'all a hand that y'all know what y'all did. Thank you all. Any questions from the audience or the board? Dr. Rivers. Yes, ma'am. May you stand? Thank you.
And I know that, I remember being at a previous board meeting, you were talking about we need to get the parents involved. Is there a way that, or did you all create a way to get the parents involved? Because a lot of the learning takes place at home, especially with the little babies.
Dr. Butler did bring it up. It should be 1 to 4 about how to do a track, the parents involved. So you can give me Dr. Butler, and he can tell you his plan that he had. Would that be okay with you, Ms. Dale?
Yes, sir, that's okay with me, Mr. Family.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
And so I do want to just add something to what Ms. Bell asked. One of the things that we have planned at Madison High School, and I imagine all the other schools as well, we plan to have town hall meetings with our upcoming scholars. Because number one, with the new accountability model, you'll see something that talks about Thrive. And so when you look at that indicator or that indice that talks about Thrive, we have a number of new IBCs that we're rolling out. Because again, we want to make certain that our strength of the diploma is increased, as well as we're meeting those expectations set forth by Superintendent Brumley and his administrative cabinet. So as far as our IBCs, like I said, we're rolling those out, industry-based credentials. And that's for our scholars that are going into the world of work. We want to make certain that those students are vetted and they are able to actually go out and be as competitive in the workforce as a veteran has. Because again, students that are coming out of school, they have the opportunity to have these credentials that actually put them on a higher pedestal versus, those persons that may have 10 years of experience, of work-related experience. So again, we're rolling out additional credentials, those advanced credentials, because again, when you look at our curriculum, you saw that we offer a number of basic credentials. So we are rolling out those advanced credentials. In addition to that, we've been studying the workforce commission and we're looking at those bundles that employers are actually looking for. In addition to that, we are increasing the number of dual enrollment classes we have, because again, we want to make certain that our students are, one, they're able to compete collegiately, locally, nationally, globally. And in doing so, again, our students have to be afforded those opportunities to take those dual enrollment courses like many of our other parishes are doing. So we're looking at increasing our dual enrollment as well as rolling out those advanced IBCs.
I have a question. What are we gonna do about the kids that are advanced? I mean, elementary and up, they're advanced. We supposed to have a gifted program? Do we have a gifted?
Yeah, we do, yes, ma'am. And so unfortunately, I'm unable to answer that question because I'm not a specialist. But that pretty much falls under our special ed umbrella, because again, we do have a gifted program. Ms. Wilson, I can hear you. Okay, we do have a gifted program. Yes, she is. What Ms. Wilson?
No.
We
I asked because I have a daughter, she went to Miss Gultry. I have all my grandkids that went to Miss Gultry, and all of them are advanced. I was second grade, in third grade now, but she's advanced to sixth grade, so sixth and seventh grade reading and math.
Okay. So that would be the first thing that I would recommend.
We have been trying, the teachers have been trying, and she has not done so. It's at the point now, I want to move my grandchildren, one of them, all of them went to under Miss Gultry. I'll few of them, I have to record under Miss Gultry. And the learning skill is growing. But we got to get to a level that we do something with them, or we're going to lose them. But I'm not going to lose mine, I will lose mine.
And I think if you would allow Dr. Butler the opportunity, of course, we're transitioning, if I'm not mistaken, our supervisor is
Say the time, yeah. On top, sure.
And so as we transition from one supervisor to another, I strongly believe July 1, we should be able to, get your salary at least, in line with you test. I'm speaking prematurely, but that's one of my favorites. But I really believe, if you just allow that time, we should be able to.
Yeah, one of the first steps is to make sure the building principal knows, to make sure that we get the kid tested, because most of the curriculum does address that higher learning that should be taking place in the classroom.
And a question from the audience. Look, I wind you up, Dr. Greppel, and to the board. I want to say to all the board members, if you are able this year, that we let Superintendent know that if you're able, I know most of y'all work, I don't have to work anymore, so that's a blessing. I will be calling the principals, and as early at this time, I will call you to set a date for me, that when I can come in your school, and just like you presented me the good news, then you can present to me during the school year how everything is going. And then, and board member, that's in our duty. That is not interfering. But the board members need to know what's going on in the school system. I don't think no principal should mind that we used to have years ago that each board member had a job. Even if the job was going in, the board member had a job to go see how clean it was in the school. We used to do that. And I would present to Dr. Butler, let him know in the report. But I know a lot of you all are still working. But if you can set a day up this year to get with the principals and see the compliment that you're making in your school, good or bad, so the board would know before they even come to this board meeting certain things that's going on. And I found out, you tell me good, but I also let this board know when crisis comes, well, this board can be that help, because our main goal is not about us. It's supposed to be about these 1,000 some children. Don't supposed to be about the pay. It's supposed to be about academic. Putting our scores up, putting our grades up. And And that's the kind of feeling and relationship the board should have with the principal and with the superintendent to know everything, good or bad, and we can try to work it out. And I'm asking the board member this year in school, and I'm letting you all know, this board appointed me president and this Crawford vice president. We're going to be nosy. And if I don't like it, I'm going to say my opinion. So it's best for you to tell us nothing but the truth, the whole truth, so help me. That's all we ask. So we all can be one on board and come back and say, well, we didn't know this. But we supposed to know. It's not that we fool with day-to-day operations. We're in a crisis now. And Dr. Rebel, I do come to your school a lot, and you welcome me, and then Dr. Pittman, I have came and asked, and I go to every school if they allow us to come. I just want us to be more, and I want the board to be more active to know what's going on and make sure we take our children. Because if it wasn't for the kids, you hear the number you're saying that we got so many numbers of kids, right? None of us on this board can get paid unless we got students. And when we don't have students, we lose jobs. So the job that you just presented and what you just told us, and Ms. Hamilton asked, we want to know more, the good of the bad. Just like you said in the southern part, I'm going to tell you some other part. All of it wasn't great, but Ms. Crawford said, we all know it's going to take time. So it's going to take time about trying to work together. Thank you, Dr. Rebels. Thank you all that's from this board that all that went on the trip. And that's all I've been asking. When you go on trips, come back and tell us what's going on. We had people go on trips and hey, bye, voted, bye, don't know nothing. We spent a lot of money for all of us to go. And I thank you for a well, beautiful presentation. Thank you. Item G, consider approve the regular board meeting date. Dr. Brother, you have that in your package? That I think we approve every year. Board members should have it in their package. And I think the Madison Journal asked about our board meeting. You knew there go one right now if you want it. You can get it.
I'll come get it.
Okay. So, can I get a motion to consider approve the regular board meeting date? The board member put it on the agenda. And can I get a motion and second to approve it?
I move. I move that we approve the regular board meetings of third Monday of each month for the coming year.
And then moved by Ms. Argrove, and second by Mr. Patterson. Board member Patterson, that we approve item G. Can I get a roll call? Roll call one. Board number one.
Public comment.
Public comment. No public comment. District 1. District 2.
Yes.
District 3. Yes. District 4. District 5. District 6. District 7. District 8.
Yes.
Thank you. Item I, consider the resolution regarding the bank account CD and assess the same. I'll
I'll address that.
address that for us.
Yeah, we were asked to put together a resolution just to provide greater transparency and oversight concerning all things financial with the board. The resolution is pretty straightforward. You have it in front of you. If you have any questions, let me know. But essentially, when it comes to accessing financial records regarding any of the accounts the board holds at Capital One, Tensol Bank, and Delta Bank, the president and vice president of the board would have access to those financial records, review those financial records, and see what's, the information contained therein. That's section 1 of the resolution. The second section is pertains to withdrawal, transfer, and expenditure of disbursement of any funds from school board's accounts. That's going to require 2 signatures, that of the acting superintendent, and then another signature of either the president or the vice president of the board. That's it.
We got it on the floor, that item, I consider resolution regarding the bank account, CDs, and with 293 on the signature.
And as I appreciate it, the reason for this resolution, I think some of the bank officers are requiring that. I believe that's my understanding. The reason for it.
Can you clear more understanding of why you say act, where I say acting superintendent? We have a superintendent back, and I'm asking superintendent.
No, I understand, but there may come a time when you don't. You have an acting superintendent. It's for future. It's just a general term, so whoever's acting, it could be permanent, could be temporary, whoever's acting superintendent.
Also, it says in here that you get those 2 signatures, that the board would have to vote to withdraw sums of money, because that's what was in the, account that was done at the, finance committee. Mr. Green and them showed where there was a large sum taken out that we were unaware of. So along with whoever superintendent and a officer of the board, you would need board minutes saying that the body of the board is given permission, because there's a reason. And I think we all needed to be aware of why that money was taken out. And so this will cover us. Because like is in the articles, they're saying the board did this, the board did that. Well, we were unaware of that money being taken out to cover whatever. So this is going to be a safeguard that there should not be any sums of money taken out of an account or a CD. And we're talking large sums, that we're not aware of.
Yeah, that's right, Cheryl. Thanks for bringing that to the board's attention. That's, you'll find that in section 2 of the second sentence of Cheryl's referred.
And she also told us when we do approve it, we must bring the board minutes showing that it's been approved. And by putting our names, whoever name is on the signature, it's going to protect us, superintendent, and all. It should nobody take their chance to move any type of money without approval of the board. I've been saying for the last 2 years, quote unquote, that no monetary money should be spent unless it comes before the board and they approve it. And I leave it at this. There's a motion on it. Any questions?
Yes. My first question is, have you all written a policy with the minimal amount that has to be required from you all, the signature? Also, is there a policy that says that how far in advance that they have to reach out to you all? And I noticed that you say minutes, and I know that you all have financial meetings. But what if something is pressing? That's why there needs to be a policy that has, you have 2 weeks in advance or a month in advance to clear a check from you all. These things need to be in policy, and I don't know anything about the policy that goes on.
Ms. Dale, it's in place. Any type of monetary money that to be spent, it have to get board approval. It is no, if we got in place that if it's emergency, that we have to do it, then we work it in that way. But still in emergency, you have to let the board know. They will call me, I will call the vice president, and we will notify the board of what we're doing. So some things do become emergency, but I can't go up there and say, I'm going to take this out of the bank without letting these board members know. So that's why they were saying the minutes and it need to be approved, is that when we go to the bank, and if we want to draw from a CD, they'll have it from the board saying it will be approved. Sometimes we may have emergencies, but all 8 board members do need to be in touch with
So that will disregard the minutes if there is an emergency.
It will still come to the board, and we'll have our meeting and let them know in our minutes that it's going to be taken care of. But we never had that situation yet. So when that situation comes, that's what we put on our thinking hats to make sure we got everything right. And we're not going to do anything. And I'll say to the body and to the board, I'm not going to do anything if our lawyer, we have called John. And me and Ms. Crawford stay on that phone talking to John. And if our lawyer come back and give us advice, that's what we go by. Because I don't think a lawyer, if you do, to lose his license, not telling us the truth. So anything that me and Ms. Crawford have done in this last month, we have notified this board. And if that emergency comes, Dr. Butler will call us and let us know, and I will get in touch with Ms. Crawford and we'll send it out to other board members.
I'm not exactly sure what the definition of an emergency is, or how quickly you would need the funds, or whatever the case might be. But according to this resolution, that would have to be more than likely rectified through a special meeting or something like that, because you are going to require minutes.
But your question does raise the fact that we do need to revisit policy and make sure our policy is strengthened as best it needs to be.
I know some boards that have policies giving the superintendent authority to spend X amount of money for those kinds of situations. But according to this resolution, it's going to have to go to the board, so there'd have to be a special call meeting.
Any more questions from the audience? Board, we have heard our attorney coming before this board with a resolution to approve. Question I want to ask before is, if I'm not a debtor, will Ms. Crawford did what her name should be on there too? If I'm out of town and we may have to go get something.
That's why we have, it's either you or the vice president.
Okay.
It's the superintendent and either you or the vice president, the president.
Okay. Or
In section 2, should we say superintendent or acting superintendent?
Yeah, that's that. I wouldn't get too caught up on acting superintendent. That just means whoever is filling the role of superintendent at the time. Now, we can make whatever changes the board wants us to make. All right. Right now, Dr. Butler is acting superintendent. He is the superintendent. If Dr. Butler leaves next week and y'all have someone as acting superintendent, then they will meet these criteria. I don't really know how else to do it to make it encompass in all situations.
I was only saying that because when you say acting superintendent, that means someone's taking place of the superintendent. That's what I look at as acting superintendent, like president, vice president. If the president's not here, the vice president will take over. Yes, I would.
Sure. Y'all want to take out acting, we'll take out acting.
Yeah, I figure sure.
We didn't put
I call say yes, but in or, and we do it like
All
that.
right, y'all saying active or permanent super, what?
No, we would say superintendent or acting superintendent.
All right, we'll make that correction.
Board is on the table. So make a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve the resolution with the, given corrections. To have this resolution regarding our bank accounts and CDs, to safeguard our, fiscal, soundness.
Been moved by Ms. Crawford, Board Member Crawford, and seconded by Board Member Guthrie. Roll call. District 1, District 2,
Yes.
District 3, yes. District 4, District 5, District 6, District 7, District 8. We have 7 yes and 1 no. Motion passed. Did you say yes? I thought.
And just one thing to add, this, once we get it corrected and get it signed, it will be on file in all 3 banks, or, all the banks that we do.
So that's 8 yeses?
Yes, sir. I apologize, Mr. Board Member Wilson. I didn't hear you.
All right, we'll make that change, we'll get this for Dr. Butler's signature and Reverend Fallon's signature.
Okay,
Anything else? Is that it?
thank you. Item J, update of consolidation plan. Who was that?
All right, a couple of months ago, we had the state superintendent come in and suggested a consolidation plan of the 2 elementary schools. There is a plan in place. Ms. Lovey did a great job in starting this plan. So we have to make sure that we try to follow through as best we can. Also, there was, our biggest issue is too many employees, okay? Beginning of the year, or actually the end of the year, once ESSER was over, there should have been employees that should have been released at that particular time. Those employees were not released, and they were moved to other funds, such as Title I funds, just different funds throughout the year. That got us in a hiring bind. So we have basically too many employees. So the first step, just remind you, we are not in a rift at the time. The first step is to make sure that our ESSER employees are released and notified. Okay? So we have our auditors out working very hard to get us a budgeting number to see how much more employees that we may have to release. Now, that all comes on numbers. Let's say 4 years ago, we had a little bit over 1,000 students. And then we had ESSER, which ESSER gave us a whole lot of money. We employed a lot of employees that we didn't release. So now we have an estimate, a little over 1,100 students. So the goal is to get back to where we started before ESSER, to make sure that we're able to reach budget. So once we have released the ESSER staff, then at that time we will see how many more we would have to release. Now in the consolidation plan, we have 2 principals. One was at Tallulah Elementary, one in Wright. There is a law process that goes through. It's not Dr. Butler, it's not the board. The law says the principal that has the highest rating or effectiveness is chosen for that for that position. And it also goes with all the other staff that are common in that particular school. You have to follow those laws. So Ms. Pittman will be the principal of Wright Elementary. All right. Also, in the consolidation plan, we're going to work hard to make sure all the desires of the principals are there. But of course, we need those numbers, those students, okay, in order to be able to get as many programs, get as many teachers that we possibly can. So that number, we don't have that number, that amount of money yet. Also, part of the consolidation plan is the moving of the schools. Right now, TE will be the basic central office, not business office, but central office. Because we have to clear space out at Wright. So the Title I rooms, they will be moved to TE while we make space for the upcoming Toledo elementary kids to be in Wright. And Ms. Drugget, can you give us some update on the moving process? Just want to make sure that we are done on time.
And before Georgette and the questions, Dr. Other questions,
Yeah.
I wanted to state that you did mention under the law, because we hear a whole lot of rumors and what's being said. But Dr. Butler knows the law just like this board knows the law. That's why we go to the conference to find out what the law is. In that law, House Bill 94, 17 tells us that Dr. Butler will come with the principals and administrators. That's his job. But he must make sure he picked the most qualified person of the job. That's not the board job. Holding is not the board job. That's Dr. Butler's job, is to pick the principal and the supervisor. And when he picks them, he must pick the most qualified person. As president, I'm not going to let you bring these seven board members. We pick them. We haven't told him since we've been here 2 years who to pick. We may not agree, but we haven't told him who to pick. So he just said to y'all, he's not pressured by us who to pick. That's his job. Same thing I read in the law. Now I'm going to study that law. If I don't know from above to John to the lawyer, when I present it, principles from what I read, pick their own people. Now, Dr. Butler can come in and say, hey, but I wouldn't come in if a principal say, I want Reverend County. And then I come in and say, I don't want them. And then that person mess up, that blame will go on that principal. So, now that's what I read. If you read the policy, you read the law, that in 2014, when Act 1 came out, it gave all that kind of power to the superintendent. It used to be the board would say, no, we don't want them. It's not the board now. So I know not one of these board members have pressured him on anything. All we said is, I'm saying, the governor had a plan. Our time is that initially we have to do it quickly, or we won't have nothing. You heard Superintendent Brundy? So I'm letting you know. So I'm bringing it clear because I want to protect this board and protect us. And other plans that we have, it should be national unless Dr. Butler have took something out. But quote unquote, that person, if he's certified and qualified, and they take it out, then there's an issue with the board. and issue with the law. So make sure y'all do these things correctly, because I'm gonna check. And I'm speaking for the board. Now, if the board don't want me to speak it, well, they speak it. But I'm protecting myself, and I'm protecting this board. The decision is made through administrators and supervisors. It's on Dr. Butler. He must pick the most qualified. He just said it. Thank you.
Now, how long has Act 1 been in where?
It's been 2014.
Act 1?
2014.
In year 2014, when Act 1 turned all that over to the school.
All to the principals and the supervisors. The people that bus drivers, you all, cafeteria, all them folks, they come before the board. Because they are young, they call them young certified, even though you can certify a bus driver. It's in the title, say young certified. So y'all can address them. But when they come down to picking them up, you're responsible for the whole staff. But when they come down to pick the principals and supervisors, that's his job.
And that's normally, Act 1 was 2012, that's normally.
2012?
Yeah.
When you say 2012, that's the year.
Yeah.
That the super.
Yeah, that's normally the standard, but now it's different when you have consolidation and what they call reduction in force. Reduction in force, you got laws that mandates that it's not just open to where, like the superintendent can go and have interviews, okay? It's not about the interview, it's about the highly qualified, most highly qualified person will choose that.
But I'm glad that that was addressed. That just means I always come back before the board and ask where that CERT, your citizen, your employee, your registered voter, your taxpayer.
Yeah.
Okay, now when I just go to visit the school with Ms. Pittman and Ms. Brown, you know, I just respect them that they're doing the best that they can do based on their education for the school district. But then I'm glad that that was addressed and they done decided that Ms. Pittman is going to be over Wright Elementary, and then we all do respect that she's at Wright Elementary. And then I wish, you know, I don't know, because, you know, like I say, we got to let go some employees because we don't have enough students to carry it. But so, you know, I just want the district to, you know, do kind of move forward, you know, at the news station here, at the Madison Journal here. We got to start at, you know, speaking just as we can to be more positive so that when the people are seeing us on the news worldwide, going to social media, then we'll be saying something nice. So the kids, the parents will want their kids to stay here. Because once you go to learning, Madison, not just Madison Parish, Madison in whole, we have a lot going on. And Madison, the school system is, I think, if I'm not mistaken, other than the correction of places, we are the largest body of employees. And it is sad to think that people are going to lose their job, but then if we don't have enough students, they're going to have to go. You know, it could be mean. We're going to have to go because we don't have enough money. And you know, like you say, we can't go pulling money from other sources just to pay payroll. But I'm glad they came up, that Reverend Founder, whatever y'all brought that up, to go ahead and address it, because it was on social media having a survey to say, who do we think should be? Or like you say, it don't go by that, it go by the law. The law says that the person you say have been there the longest, it has to be that who?
Yeah.
Have the most credentials.
Performance rating for that particular year.
Right, I understand, yes, sir. And that make, you know, that make a lot of sense, because when they put it on social media, and then by you was just coming back, I said, oh wow, Dr. Butler got to choose between Ms. Brown and Ms. Pittman, so that would make it, you know, that would make it hard. You don't want to really choose between either or, you know, but like you say, when they got most education, most credentials, the one that's moving the district kids for, that's the one you got to go for. I understand it. It makes a lot of sense. So y'all got a lot on you all. I come here and sit faithfully, but I respect whatever you all say. Because some things y'all are talking about, I'm trying to write it down the best I can because then I'm learning. Amen.
Thank you.
Amen.
Amen. Okay, can I talk now, Pastor?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I've been given the task of facilitating the move, and I passed around a calendar for you all to look at so you'll know what's going on throughout the month of June and July. The week of the 16th through the 18th is a very short week where we will be relocating the Title I department. The week of the 23rd through the 26th, we will start the relocation of Wright Elementary's classrooms. We will move the different grade levels from one side to the other side. On the 26th, we will relocate the cafeteria equipment from Toulouse Elementary. And on the 30th, we'll continue the relocating and the cleaning of the classrooms at Wright Elementary. On the week of July 1 to July 3rd, if that's a working day, we'll continue to relocate and we have it broken up by grade level. The week of the 7th through the 10th, that will be our big move. That's when we will move Toulouse Elementary to Wright Elementary. And that's it. Any questions?
When y'all move, like, just say the week of June 23rd through the 26th, and you're moving the, like, Wright Elementary classrooms, like, will those individual teachers be like, let them know, at Tuesday we're moving your room, so they can be present to help, you know, put their stuff wherever?
No, ma'am, I had not planned to, because I kind of sort of wouldn't want them to be in the way while we're doing all the heavy lifting and moving.
Yeah.
But once we get everything in the classroom, then they have free reign to come.
But they did help.
There goes one too.
And
And then that's one thing.
it's their stuff, they will.
Okay, but they'll have the free reign to place it where they want to place it in the classroom. But you know, as far as the heavy lifting and the movement, no ma'am, we won't have them involved in it. Yes. Yes. Any more questions?
Yeah, so what are they gonna do with the old central offices, if the main central office will be Toulouse Elementary? What would this building here be used for, the old central office?
Yeah, that still be the business office.
Oh, business office?
Mhm.
Oh,
So are there Title I offices at Wright?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so they have to be moved for class, okay, I get that, okay. I just wanted to make sure, you know, we make a focus of getting as much done for the kids so that we're ready to start school.
Okay, we look in July, everything, the entire move should be done, and everything go according to plan by the 10th of July. So
That's good.
Yeah, that's a good time, so we can get our vacation.
Yeah, and then it gives teachers, what, 1, 2, 3, what's the start date of school?
Obviously, that.
Okay, so that would give them a full month to build the nest. Okay.
Ms. Bell, you have a question?
It's not really a question.
Okay. All right, I'm done. No questions?
thank you.
Georgette Stewart.
Any questions, from the audience? And Dr. Butler mentioned something, and I want the board, and I know we mentioned it to Dr. Butler, and I think Tim, should have it when they come up and they report. Dr. Butler mentioned that they kept it Ursa for 4 years, and should have been only 3. Our address was with Dr. Butler and Ms. Crawford and the board. We only look at the Ursa from 2020 to 2025. The one that quit, we don't supposed to be looking at them. But the ones that still here that was in Ursa from the beginning, the people that was in Ursa, that was in general fund. You took them people out and put them in Ursa, well, them people go back to general fund. And the people that was in Ursa, them the ones that we saying, I don't want to get rid of nobody. But the budget and the financial crisis that we are in, we got to do something to save. And they will tell you, now we have fought hard, but everything Tim them tell us, our position, that's what we follow. It's hard to go to bed at night. And I got to wake up every morning. And I think these board members feel the same way. That we don't know how you're going to get paid on the 25th. I'm being honest. And that's a powerful meeting come in and Tim have to tell them. I'm going to say the part truthful to you. Every month, the last 6 months, we've been trying to find out the way how to pay you up. And we're praying the 25th that we're able to pay you up.
25th of this month.
That's when you get paid.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's up.
Any more questions? Yes, ma'am, Ms. Ada.
And I just want to encourage, not even just the district, because as Ms. Michelle said, this is going on citywide, just things like Tallulah is just going through a process. We have to understand, first off, it is about branding. And I know that we should rationalize or make things seem better than what it is, but we have to think about how we're describing things. So we're not gonna say crisis. We're building from foundation. We have to build. Tallulah has to build. That's the only way we're gonna get to where we want to go. And it has to be a holistic effort, a town's effort. So we're just building from foundation. And I want to encourage you all, encourage the kids, that we have to do it together. It can't be this person versus that person or whatever. We have to do it together. We gotta move together and group together. And we gotta put aside our ego. Because it's for our babies.
Thank you. Doc, get with, see, can you set a meeting this week with me and Vice President Crawford so we can get back to the board? Is who gonna be where, what Tyler gonna be, and what these people gonna be, or who gonna be at Sewell Elementary, or who gonna be still here in central office so we can have that know to the board. And whenever you can set a meeting with us, and this week, and then we'll just send it out and let them know how you doing. That be okay? Okay. All right. Oh, thank you. And do the board member have any more questions for the lawyer?
All right, have a safe drive.
Item K, any more questions? Item K, consider the ratification of petition elimination and employee notice. I think that would be Mr. Tino now, that you all come up. Yeah.
Board President, board members, superintendent, staff, and guests, it's been great. It's a pleasure to be here to talk. We kind of have requested information as far as the number of employees that are on the ESSER funding, and we just got that listing last Thursday and had to do some manipulations of it, etc. And I think we're still working on that. We've been provided a list that there was 18 people that were on the ESSER funding that would be receiving letters and so forth. Kind of looking at the numbers, I'd like to share that with you. We had provided that at the Finance Committee meeting, might just go back over that. If you look over the last 6 years on that list, or 7 years, starting with June of 2019, our student count was actually pretty high. Back in June of 2019, it was 1,251 students. It kind of dropped down a little bit into 1,100 categories, stayed there for the next 3 years. It came back up above in June of 2023, it came back up above the 1,200 to 1,227. 24 was 1,251, which was back up as high as it was in June of 19. However, this past year, the number of students, the February 1st count dropped to 1,140 students. So we're back down a good bit student-wise, and just that fact alone is going to require a reduction in staffing to kind of get your expenses matched up with the amount of MFP revenue that you're receiving. So anyway, we got 1,140 students this year. We had 281 staff. That was after a decrease of about 15 staff from the year before, for June of 2024. A year ago, we had 296 staff. We're now down to 281. But to kind of maybe summarize that, back in June of 19, June of 20, those 2 fiscal years, your student count was right at 200, 197, or not students, but the number of staff was 197 in that first year, 203 in the next one. So you were right around 200 employees. We're up at this time, we're at 281, so you've got quite a few employees that you're going to have to reduce. I think there's more than 18 COVID or ESSER employees, but I don't have those numbers. I think Dr. Butler and his group is still working on that to try to determine exactly how many they've got, et cetera. But the list that was provided, I think, had 18 people on it that you were looking at sending notifications, I guess, and you're talking about $800,000 in expenses that you were looking at cutting as a result of that. But I think you've got, you've got 70 or 80 employees that you really need to reduce. And I know that's going to be tough, et cetera, but get back in line with what it was pre-COVID, which is where your student count is at this point. Your student count right now is 1,140 as of February the 1st. And, you just got a lot of employees, and a lot of that to do ESSER and to the COVID money that we received. And like many school boards, those number of employees went up great at that time. But anyway, I would say that you really got, you take 18 that you're talking about reducing, and you still got about 50 to 60 employees that really need to be reduced as a result. And once we get those final numbers from Dr. Butler and his staff, we can give you a better number on that. But there's a lot of pain you have to go, and I hate to say that, but I don't know how else to tell you that you get your costs back in line. I think you just have to reduce the staffing back to pre-COVID days.
What kind of timeline would you need this? Or, okay, let me ask you this. What would be a reasonable timeline to request?
Well, I think we could probably shed the numbers and stuff as soon as we kind of get the number of ESSER posts. The part of the issue is that I think we kind of, as Dr. Butler said, we kind of moved ESSER posts into different funds, et cetera. So we really got to, I guess, kind of unravel that, so to speak, to find out exactly what we do have as far as ESSER people and how many ESSER people there are that could come out of the system. And then I think at that point you'd be back and looking to the regular employees that were pre-COVID and then trying to determine what. But we're talking about, a couple $1 million that you really got to cut in payroll costs, and the 18 that we've got so far is showing about $800,000. So we still got a ways to go. So.
Tim, I want you to check on something for me. Can you check by us consolidating two elementaries is right? Can you break down first grade, second grade, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, pre-state, and special? Can you break down to this board when you look at the budget how many teachers we need for first grade, how many parents we need for first grade. Can you break that down to us to let us know? Because we're not consolidating all the other schools. These are the two schools that we have that right in School Elementary will be consolidated. Can you look and break down it and see what we will be in position, how many teachers we need, and how many classes they will need over there?
I think that would be more of the administration's responsibility. Once we look at the budget and determine exactly what your income is and what your expenses are and how much you need to cut, we can equate that to how many, we kind of know how many your paraprofessionals average cost is, how much teachers average cost is, and we can tell you how many number of people that needs to be reduced, and then it's just a matter of somebody saying, okay, if we got to take out 40 employees, then where do we take those out, and how is that best for the educational system? And I think Dr. Butler, some of the staff would be better qualified to do that than us.
And the reason I asked that question, Tim, is not, it's out that after that, I just heard you say 80 people. So would that affect, I was consolidating, and the reason I asked you for it, and I have reason why I'm asking, is because of would that affect employees at the junior high and high school? No, he just, if you listen to what he's saying, we asked Dr. Butler about Urgent. Okay, that will be taken care of. Then they come back and say, when you have a RIP, I was part of the RIP. Reduction of staff and Urgent. That should have been done a year ago. I'm saying about, are we going to have to touch other employees when you say 80? It wasn't 80 person people.
Yeah, it's gonna touch across the board, unfortunately. I mean, I hate to say that, but
That's what I'm trying to
if
figure out.
they're only putting up 18 that have been left in ESSER funds, the others have been scattered around. We're still top heavy, 70 to 80 people. And it wasn't addressed last year when it should have been because funding stopped.
And see why I'm asking.
And we had to pick up the bill, general fund and other, Title I or whatever. And I just don't think Title I can handle and support all of them coming out of Title I.
See, the reason I asked him is because last supervisor said 43 people were put over in Title I. The 43 people were put in Title I, now they were supposed to be in Urgent people. Now it's telling us that 18 people is Urgent funds. So that's what I'm trying to find out, because when we met with the supervisor, board, I remember everything when it come down to have to lay people off for 2012. It hurted me, and I did not vote for the laying of our job. So when you told me 43, when it came before 43, they told that to the board, and it went to Title I, not you all, but the supervisor did say 43 people went to Title I. They were Urgent people. So now I'm hearing that it's 18 Urgent people. So can you explain that to me?
I can.
Okay.
First of all, I think it was originally about 60 people that were involved with paraprofessionals that were hired. But they actually have a list of about 35 that's going to receive a termination letter. What we went in and did was look at what impacted the general fund. And it's only 18 that actually impact the general fund. So I think they're prepared to send out about 35 letters, which impacts not only general fund, but other funds also. Of course, what we're trying to look at the most is the impact of general fund, because that's your main operating fund, that's what you need to get healthy. The grants not only, additionally they're, they can only stretch so far, I guess, and they can stretch pretty tightly. But the other thing about the grants is you have a master bank, which is the appropriate way to do it, and it's the way all school systems do it. But what happens is all those funds are in your master bank, your special revenue funds, and you do have some other bank accounts too that has different things in it. But basically, your special revenue funds, title, et cetera, are in the same bank account. So ultimately, what's been happening is when we're trying to decide if y'all have payroll, or your staff is trying to decide if you have enough money for payroll, they're looking at that master bank account because those grants are expenditure driven. So all those grants, you spend money before you ever get that money back, right? So those grants are riding on general fund. So not only do you have to think about how healthy is general fund, but you have to think about those funds that are riding on general fund. Currently, those turnarounds have not been happening quickly. We're working on, Christy's worked really hard to get those up to speed and help a lot with those, and we're working on the program to kind of implement, getting that done every month. So while we will be out of those funds until they come in, if you get on the schedule of requesting them every month, that's a continual flow. Once that's established, it doesn't hurt you so bad. But you just got so much work to do right now to get general fund healthy, get your cash flow in place. So it's a big deal for y'all. But again, you're working from a foundation, right?
Can you explain what the turnaround means to the audience? The turnaround?
For the special revenue funds?
Yes.
Okay. What happens is, first of all, special revenues have to have a budget. Then you have to follow that budget with all the things that all your expenditures. You request those expenditures. Of course, sometimes you end up with the issue of, is this really in the guidelines of the grant? Is this really the type of expenditure that can be made? But you clean all that up, but you make a request. If there's something that you purchase or you want to purchase that's not included in that grant or those grant guidelines, you have to adjust your budget. So you can't make those purchases until your budget's adjusted. Also, for EGMS, you have PERS that have to be submitted. If your PERS are behind, which I think Christy did a lot of PERS that were behind, which is a periodic expense report, that has to be done. So if two of those haven't been done, you have to get your PER approved. Then once it's approved, then you can do the next one. You can't go in and say, I want to do 3 PERS. You have to do one, get it approved, do another one, get it approved, before you can request the funds. But once, get that in place, and that's running smoothly, you'll have a quick turnaround. But you're still gonna have to be sound enough in general fund that you can temporarily cover those funds. But that's the disparity in the numbers that you're hearing with the people.
Are we still, is it too late to request more reimbursement?
What numbers have you requested recently, Christy?
We've received everything back on the smaller grants, but we have one that was a Title I request that was $454,000, and it has been approved at the state, but it has not been received yet. So it's in that process. So I'm hoping within this week, maybe that money will show up. And then Ms. Tilly just requested about $70,000 of 21st Century the end of last week. So I'm hoping we'll get a turnaround on that fairly quickly.
So we need to do a tighten up on our reimbursement, asking for our money, sending everything in.
Also, something else I might mention to you, and Tim was talking about the numbers and the staff members as opposed to the student counts, etc. But just something that's pretty eye-opening, today we looked at the general fund, just the general fund expenditures. I'm sorry. Oh.
Thank you.
The middle of the page in both directions, draw your cross on it, you'll see where it's at. Salary expense, which does not include the CSS state payment, which was the state raise that was given to all employees. So these numbers don't include that. And you can kind of correlate this to the student count, the staff members, but you can see in 2021, which there was 1,141 students, 216 teachers. The general fund expenses for salary were $4 million, a little over $4 million. Benefits that relate to that, which you have benefits like teachers' retirement and Medicare, that's a percentage. So if that goes up, they go up. But then you've got insurance, which is a big chunk of what you got to pay, which, you know, is all over the place. You got people with family insurance, people with just one person, then you got people with no insurance. But this is the total of the salaries and the benefits for that year to general fund, $5.6 million, for 2021. Then you can go down to 2024, you'll see the student count's 1,251, so that's 80 more employees. But you can see when you run through the expenditures, the benefits, it's $8.7 million. So you see the difference in the dollars. That's the difference in the dollars. We talk student count, there's a difference. We talk employees, that's a difference. But then you look at the numbers and you see what the salaries and benefits are, and that gets down to brass tacks, so to speak. But something else I want to mention to you is your cash flow problem, like we talked about last time. It's not just these salaries and these changes in these numbers. It's some of those dollars that haven't been reimbursed that's just gone. And so you've got to take that into consideration when you're making all these decisions, because those dollars are not coming back. But they are a one-time shot if we fix this, if we fix stipends, which is another big thing that's got to be fixed. But anyway, that's all I got to say here.
I have a question. The money that we borrowed from Child Foods Fund,
Pardon?
money that was taken out of the Child Foods Fund,
Yes, ma'am.
needs to be replaced by June 30th according to state law.
I'll let you know.
Will it be able to be replaced? That's a lot of money.
One of the other things I would recommend is that we just have to look at it to see what could be done in that case. It's also, you know, if your state funding, your MFP money, you get all that during the year. The state pays it to you. So come June 30th, you receive all the MFP for your 24-25 fiscal year. But the payroll is not going to be paid out until July and August on the summer payroll. That pertains to the 12-month employee. And what I'd like to see is that we put enough money in the payroll fund to cover all of that payroll and benefits. And that's really, if we do that, there's going to be a massive amount of money goes into that account, because we've got that summer payroll to pay, we got the benefits to pay, and it would then show you what money we got left, I think, once we did that. So if we do that and then try to pay back the child nutrition program, that's going to be a lot of money, and don't know. I think, and again, I'll remind you, I mentioned this as a caution last time, we're getting the grants for, they're up to date. Christy's gone back through them, looked at where maybe a month's of payroll was skipped, etc. She's gone through the whole year, got everything that was not requested, has got it requested. We'll have a lot of money coming in the next few days, hopefully. And we've had more money come in due to those getting up to date, etc., here in the last month. And so we're bunching what would have been collected over the next 4 or 5 months. We're kind of bunching that up and getting it now, which you were entitled to it now. So I would say that's the right thing to do. But we're collecting some money that we normally would collect in the fall. We're collecting it now to help catch flow-wise and etc. But we really gotta get the expenses cut, and unfortunately, a lot of that can't be done until the start of the new year. So, we got to tough road to hoe.
I talked with the director of the Child Foods, and she said the law reads that have to be paid back to that fund by June 30th.
All right, well, we'll get that figured out and how much that needs to be and how much it would take to fully fund that payroll fund so that we have a really clear idea as to what that leaves us otherwise paid.
She's going to have a longer adjustment to do if it's not paid back.
Jim, she called me too, so I want to let the board know. She was generous to give us $500,000 to pay the last payroll, and we placed it back. But now, she told us about the state said she had to have it back in by June 30th.
This money that was taken out of those funds back last year, or you, I'm not going to put it before now. But it's over, money's over, that fund that we get.
I think the analysis we did went back to July the 1st of last year, so we had some ones in the file that were pulled from Child Nutrition. So we can get those added up and look and see how possible that is to try to get that cleared up.
She asked me if I would bring this up, and I told her I would.
You had mentioned, I just want to answer your question, the back page that was on that, we looked at a while ago. That is the ones that are out of the 35 that Dr. Butler indicated was going to be a letter. That's the ones that are general fund. And then it's some of the ones that are retiring or not returning that we had at that point that they weren't going to replace. So that's all that is.
Any more questions for Jim? Jenny, got anything else?
No, that's probably enough for today.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Good. Look, I checked our policy, and we're gonna have to sort like we got the staff meeting, and only community-related policy on that agenda, we got to sit on our cabinet to make sure we have these meetings, because we got it in policy on the community relation policy that was gave to me before I came president was Rita Hargrave, Kathy Gusher, Lisa Johnson, Shelley Crawford, Donna Lisa Crawford, Tim Still, and Paula Hamilton. On the curriculum, this who gave to me, and we have to have meetings with this because we're supposed to put it in our minutes that we are meeting. And curriculum personnel was Rita Hargrave, Shelley Crawford, Oscar Hamilton, Regina Downer, Cheryl Bridgewater, Clara Durr, and Sonia Shaw. And the facility transportation, that's with Georgette, and I had told her I'm gonna start meeting with her. But we got to set, and we have to have these in policy. And the minute that we are meeting, Kathy Gusher, Paula Hamilton, Eddie Fountain, Jeff Wilson, George Ed Stewart, Marterry Robinson, and Debbie Cummings. Financial Insurance Week, that's the only one we're meeting. And we're gonna have to, I'm gonna give it Doc so we can set dates how we're gonna have our meeting. And the finance insurance meeting with Cheryl Lee, Cheryl Bridgewater, Oscar Hamilton was played by Ms. Hargrave, Jeff Wilson, Lisa Johnson, Cheryl Bridgewater, and Eddie Fountain. We give it to you that we set up how we got to have this meeting because it's supposed to be in the minutes that we are meeting. So I want to share that with y'all. Personnel report and
President, I'm not on that committee that filed out last.
Ma'am.
I'm not on that last meeting. She took us at the.
Oh yeah, that's right, Lisa. Yes, yes, ma'am. Lisa. So, if we need to get a list out to have them printed out and give to the board members again, Superintendent. You got Superintendent report?
No, I presented it.
Okay. And other items and everything we need to talk about before we adjourn. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Moved by Ms. Albright, second by with board member Patterson. All in favor say aye.